Hello everybody, today we'll be checking out Mystic Fairy Freya and how to build her. As always, let's start with the gear. So most of the time you want full resonance gear on Freya. However, in some situations where she doesn't survive up to her second active, you might just want to have more HP on her, so you can use 2-2 split instead. And in some situations, you might just want a little bit more shield on your team, as long as she gets to the second active. In that case, you can use 1-3 split for a little bit more attack. However, these are like very situational. You just want full resonance for the most part. Then we have the stones. Again, these kinda depends on whether she gets to her second active or not. If she can get there easily, you just want a lot of attack on her so the shield is stronger. If she doesn't survive till that point, you just want as much HP as possible. And for the speed HP stone, you can use it in Star Expedition, Void Vortex, Realms Gate, PvP, and Tower. These are places where you don't really rely on shield that much. You know, as long as she gets to the active, you are good to go. And then for Broken Spaces, Void Campaign, and Seal Land, you can use Speed Attack Stone. This is where the shield is a little bit more important. Well, not for Broken Spaces, you just want more damage in there. I don't think you will have trouble with Freya surviving in Broken Spaces. Then we have the HP stone. This is where you don't need speed anymore. You know, the speed stones, you want them as long as you outspeed some of your heroes. So the Demon Bell on her is much more useful for you. And if she cannot outspeed most of the heroes, or you don't need Demon Bell at that point, you can just use a stone without any speed at all. So the HP stone you can use in Void Vortex and Realms Gate in that case. And HP attack stone for Void campaign, whenever you need just a bit more HP to survive, and also some attack for a bigger shield. Of course, you can always use attack stone as well. Again, if you don't need speed, and you just need a big shield for your team. Then we have the artifacts. Now, Demon Bell is her main selling point, to be honest. So you can just put Demon Bell on Freya and use her basically every single game mode, as you can see there. And since she relies on active skill, especially her second active skill, you just want to get there as fast as possible. Hopefully round 2 you want the second active. And that is basically all she needs to get going. That is why Demon Bell is the best artifact for her, since she just gives herself the energy as well. Next up we have the Snow Heart. Now Snow Heart is still an energy artifact, so you are guaranteed to land the round 1 active. And then you still try to get to second active as fast as possible. So in this case, you can just use Snow Heart if you cannot outspeed your enemies with your carry heroes or your CC heroes. And that is basically Void Campaign, PvP, and Tower. Other than that, we have the Golden Crown. Now, Golden Crown, you can use on any Transcendence hero. It's just a good artifact all around. However, you do not get a round 1 active if you don't have faster heroes with Demon Bats. So you kind of need to pay attention to that. But as long as she gets to the second active, while your team is still alive, you are good to go with Golden Crown. And then we have these weird offensive artifacts. Now you might be asking, why would we use Antler's Cane or AMB on Freya? So this is just a very weird example I want to say. Um, Her active skill after the third active and on, you just gain a lot of attack and speed on Freya from the passive. So your attack is increasing every round, right? And then Antler's Cane also does damage, like a lot of damage on the later rounds. So you are just double scaling at that point. For example, if you have a main homeowner Freya for some reason, or if maybe she is your first Transcendence, or maybe you got a giant killer copy Freya. I don't know, it's just an example. In those cases, you might want to use Antler's Cane on her, and by double scaling like this, you'll be doing a lot of damage from like round 5 and onwards. It might be something to try. Then we have the AMB. Again, she gains a lot of attack after the third active, I believe. So at the end of every round, you are gaining attack. That means with A and B, you are negating even more damage every round. So every round passes, you gain more attack and you negate more damage. It's something to consider. This doesn't really make much sense because even in like longer rounds with IMB, you won't be doing a lot of damage with Freya. However, the attack buff you get after round 15 and onwards is quite a huge buff, so it won't be working that good. But if the fight is going around 15 rounds, let's say, it might be something to consider. Just, just some very weird circumstances it might be useful in. Then we have the enables. Of course, Freya is a support hero, so you just want her to stay alive for her second active. That's why you can use the defensive enables, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can always replace this healing enable, the second one here, for crit damage reduction if you want. However, you will be healing yourself a lot with the Freya passive. And also, you are most likely gonna use her with Vesa in the team. That is why the healing is very good when you have two healers healing her. Then we have the speed enables here, 3, 3, 4, 3, 2. Again, this is where you need some speed to outspeed some of your heroes. So the Demon Bell Freya goes before them, feeding them energy. And again, you can replace the healing for crit damage reduction. Between these enables, you can also do some mixed stuff like 1 HP, 1 attack, 1 HP, 1 speed, 1 attack. There are a lot of combinations you can use, depending on whether if she is outspeeding someone or not, or whether you want speed, not speed, whether you want some attack for a bigger shield or HP to survive up to that second active. So a lot of opportunities you can use here. Then we have the imprints here. Um, Most likely you are going to be using armor, block, and damage reduction. This is just a tanky build for your support heroes all around. Then in some cases you want control immunity if your enemy CCs a lot. So you can drop an armor for control immunity. Or maybe your opponent has a lot of precision. In that case you can drop block. It won't be useful. There are some offensive imprints you can always use, like crit, holy damage, precision. And it's just up to you at that point, like whether you want more tankiness or a little bit more damage. You can change it around. However, this is just the basic setup for the support Freya. And next time we have the Tree of Origin. So the active part of Freya is actually pretty good upgrades. However, it is just damage for the most part, the first three, I believe. So this is not really the best upgrades for a support hero, you know. But the last upgrade is very good for your team. And then the basic attack upgrades are pretty bad. The last one is, I was gonna put an X there, but you know, it's the best one out of these four, so I just left it out because of that. This first passive is insane upgrades. It's also the last passive. Like these two buff your team. So it is, you know, very good upgrades since it affects 6 people instead of just one for the most heroes. And this passive has 3 good upgrades, just 1 bad, I believe. And then the last passive has 2 good upgrades. However, the passive itself doesn't upgrade that good. We will see in a second. And this is what I recommend for the Freya 3. So of course the last 2 upgrades are very good, but to be able to do those, you want a P4 or P5 Freya, right? And that takes a long time to make, mostly. So while waiting for those stellar shards or spiritual essence, you might just want to upgrade your active anyway. And like it is still 2 good upgrades. Well, not too good. This is just a little bit more damage upgrade than the active skill. So that is why I didn't put an X there. It's a better upgrade for active. But it is still just buffing herself, so it's not the best. However, the last upgrade is very good, so you just want to upgrade this active all the way. And then after that, you skip the basic attack. This is just horrible. Basic 3 here is horrible. It doesn't affect your team, it just affects Freya. And Freya's basic is very bad. You know, you are mostly relying on your active skills all the time. And then we have the first passive. This is very good upgrades. Again, it is 3 good upgrades out of 4. So you just want to max this out as fast as possible. And then work on the last passive. After the 12th upgrade here, you probably want to stop because basic attack is very bad. Never do it. Never ever do it. Even if you have spare essence, I wouldn't recommend doing this. Like, only upgrading her basic, which only affects Freya, which is a support hero, it's just very bad upgrade. So just go up to 12 and stop there, in my opinion. And that is all I can say for Freya. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.